Hey, great to have you here. So today I want to do a quick vlog update of the Dexter Original Sin prequel spin-off series that's taking place. The production just began for this show, so I want to just quickly talk about it. So previously they talked about doing 3 different spin-offs of Dexter. One, having a prequel to Dexter's life, which is what they are doing now. They also talked about having a Harrison continuation from New Blood, as well as a Trinity spin-off series. I don't think the Trinity one is really continuing, but for today's purposes, we're going to be talking about the Dexter Original Sin prequel series that, as I said, production just began for. So going back in time, prior to even the original Dexter series, and having Dexter, I think around the early 90s, in his early 20s. I want to see what everyone's thoughts are on this prequel series. I have my own opinions, respectfully, as far as how Dexter ultimately ended and my interest in doing a prequel series. I'll share some photos here of the cast that we have that are planned, that just got announced for this prequel series. I don't know a whole lot about most of these folks. A few of them I've seen in 1 or 2 things. I know Christian Slater, who's playing Harry, Dexter's father, is probably the most well-known one of the cast. They all look like similar to their original cast character. They look like younger, attractive versions of those characters. So I imagine, as far as the acting goes, it's going to be really well done. It really comes down to, are you interested in continuing the Dexter story? And that's where, for me personally, I'm a little shaky on. I don't love prequels in general, just because you know how things turn out, so there's not a whole lot of surprise, especially with something like Dexter. You know all of these characters that are currently cast as their younger versions of, they're not going to die. Dexter's obviously, killing takes place a lot in that show, so somebody living or dying is a big factor in building suspense and drama in the show. So we know LaGuerta, Dexter, Deborah, Masuka, Batista, they're all going to be fine. So there's only so much you can do when you do that. You can introduce new characters who could be at stake, but then how much impact does that have? I don't know. You can do a lot more with Harry, Dexter's father, I guess. His partner has been announced also as a cast member, so I think we have 7 cast members announced thus far. We have Dexter, Deb, Masuka, Batista, LaGuerta, Harry, and Harry's partner. So, as I said, I imagine they're going to do a great job. It's just how much we're going to be interested in the series overall. I know I personally, after watching the first iteration of the first 8 seasons of Dexter, I was not a fan of the ending. The whole lumberjack, the whole going into the hurricane and somehow surviving that and turning into a lumberjack. I wound up anticipating the New Blood launch and doing a rewatch of all of the original 8 seasons, and honestly, I didn't hate the ending as much as I originally did. I still didn't love the whole introducing the protege in the 8th season and then killing them off really quickly. It felt like unnecessary to include them at all. But overall, I warmed up to season 8's ending compared to when I originally watched it, when it launched back many years ago. But when you put out New Blood, that's really where you wound up losing me. I was a fan of most of New Blood for a while there. It was just getting Dexter back. It was great to have him back. There's a lot of nitpicks I had, but as long as you land the plane and have a satisfactory ending, a lot of those nitpicks you can let go. But the way that final episode, especially the last 20 minutes or so, happened, a lot of those nitpicks became big gripes and big problems with the show. So didn't love how they ultimately ended New Blood and killing off Dexter and ending it just the way they did. So with how that ended, I personally am not overly interested in learning more about Dexter's past. I feel like, especially when it comes to prequels, if you don't like how it ends, it's hard to convince somebody to go back and rewatch the beginning of things. When you have something like, for example, I know people didn't love the Game of Thrones ending, and then when they recommend shows to watch, they struggle saying, hey, watch this, because they know how it's going to end. So stuff like that becomes problematic. I know prequels have become a little more popular recently. We have something like Young Sheldon, which is obviously Big Bang Theory, younger version of that. I think that works a little bit better when you're doing a comedy where you don't have something like, as I said, Dexter dying ultimately at the end, and us now going back and supposedly trying to have interest in his character younger. I don't even know if it makes sense for all 7 of those people to be around at the same time at that age. Is Masuka and Dexter, were they supposed to be around the same age? I'm not sure. That's probably nitpicking a little bit, but overall, I imagine it's going to be a decent quality show. Clyde Phillips, the executive producer and showrunner, is coming back, so Normally I would say that's a good thing, but he came back for New Blood as well, and I personally didn't love how that one ended. So what do you guys think? I imagine it's going to be a good quality show, but as far as interest level for me, unless this thing gets feedback of being just a great hit, like a 10 out of 10, 9 out of 10 type show, I'm probably going to watch a little bit of it, but not have overly high hopes for it. So that's just kind of my thoughts. As I said, I think the way you end New Blood makes any spinoff challenging to get folks interested in. And I think this general sentiment probably is across the board, just because, you know, the worst rated episode in Dexter's series was the original finale of season 8, and then what overtook that as the new highest, or the new worst episode, was the ending of New Blood. So feels like for the most part fans didn't like how it ended. If that's the case, are you going to be wanting to watch more of it? I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see more Dexter? Did you like how the original one ended? Just want to see your feedback and your thoughts. As I mentioned, production just began, so I'm not sure we have a launch date yet, but I'll stay tuned and see what we have there. If you guys want to hear more about Dexter overall, just let me know. But thank you guys for watching, and hope to talk to you again soon.